if I may,
Sure.
I might just say a little bit about climate change and why I think it's so important to marry the MDG agenda with the Sustainable Development Goals. I'll just read a short quote from the International Energy Agency from last April. It says, "We have a responsibility and a golden opportunity to act. Energy-related CO2 emissions are at historic highs. Under current policies, we estimate that energy use and CO2 emissions would increase by a third by 2020 and almost double by 2050. This would likely send global temperatures at least 6 degrees higher. Such an outcome would confront future generations with significant economic, environmental, and energy security hardships." That last bit is something of an understatement. 6 degrees higher, it's very hard for us to grasp, but 5 degrees below where we are now is what kind of gave us the ice ages. So 5 degrees below where we are doesn't mean you kind of need an extra coat when you go out. It means you might have a mile of ice over your house. 6 degrees above where we are now, the Earth hasn't seen for about 50 million years. It took millions of years to get to that point, and it took millions of years to cool down from that point. So our entire human civilization, our entire evolution as a species has never seen those kinds of temperatures at all. 50 million years ago, horses standing on this table would be about this tall. We've moved a long way since then. All our ecosystems have evolved to temperatures much lower than that. In geological terms, 6 degrees above where we are now in 100 years is essentially a vertical line straight up. Our ecosystems, our civilization cannot possibly adapt to that. There's two, I think, critical aspects of the climate change thing that are not well enough appreciated. One is the scale of the threat, the 6 degrees. The other one is the urgency of the threat, and there's three aspects to that. One is that there's time lags in the system, in the climate system. We've had 0.8 degrees already. We've got at about another 0.6 degrees coming because of what we've already put into the atmosphere, so we're guaranteed about 1.4 degrees. We've got momentum in the system as well. And natural processes start to take over once you get past a certain level. So we've got about 1 trillion tonnes of carbon locked up in the Arctic Circle. Once that gets past a certain point and starts melting and decomposing, it's kind of game over in terms of that. The other one aspect is that there's a narrow window of opportunity to do something about this, and that window of opportunity will pass before we start to see the really serious effects, and that's the unbelievably difficult political and psychological problem for us. The best analogy perhaps is to imagine, well, not the best, but one I come up with anyway, is imagine that you're driving like a fully laden semi-trailer down a mountain road, like you're carrying steel girders or something like that. You're on a 22-wheeler, you're driving down a mountain road, and you see a bend coming up. Now, if you don't want to go over the edge, you've got to brake well before you're in that bend. If you want to wait till you're in the bend before you're really sure it's a bend, there's nothing you can do at that point. The time for braking has a narrow window of opportunity, and that's, in climate change terms, that's the next 5 to 10 years. So if we let this run away from us, it will comprehensively undo the MDGs, undo our systems of governance, undo our capacity for food security and water security. So, yeah, critical and urgent.